Hi, I'm Tanya and welcome to my channel, Move with Tanya. In this video today, I have a short vinyasa style class for you today. It's going to be a hands-free flow. So if you have not watched my video on how I modify my Sun Salutations for a hands-free practice, you may want to start there just so that you're not a little lost with this, what are these Sun Salutations happening? So we're going to do a little bit of warm-up. We'll do 2 modified Sun A's, we'll do a modified Sun B, and then we'll run through some warrior poses. We'll have some balancing, and then we'll end on our mats on our back for just a little bit of a bridge and then a nice little twist. So we're gonna get started standing. So you won't need any props for this practice, so just grab yourself a mat and join me when you're ready. So you can start kind of in the middle of your mat, facing whatever direction you'd like, hands down by your side, palms face forward. We're just gonna take a couple of breaths here. So close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. If you find yourself waving back and forth, you can separate your feet hips width apart. Sometimes there's a little more stability there. Inhale, think about drawing your breath up all the way from your heels up to the crown of your head. Pause at the top. And then exhale, release everything out. A few more like that. Inhaling in, filling up your lungs, drawing your breath up. And exhale, release everything out. We'll take 3 more breaths. Inhaling all the way up. And exhaling, release. Inhaling, breath in, all the way up. Nice pause at the top. And then exhale everything completely. Last one. Inhale everything up. And exhale, release. All right, if you close your eyes, you can go ahead and flutter them open. Your feet are separated hips width. You can step them together and just stack everything on top of each other. So shoulders are over hips, are over feet. Find some nice length. And then we'll add a little bit of a lean. So reach your arms up. Grab your right wrist with your left hand, lengthen up. Think about trying to lift your ribs up off your hips and then lean over to the left. So you want to keep your chest lifting so we're not caving over, but keeping that right shoulder open, maybe even gaze up towards the ceiling. One more breath here. And then come back through to center. Release your hands, and then other side. Grab your left wrist with your right hand. Reach up first, lift the ribs, and then lean over to the right. Again, shoulders are open. Think about rotating those left ribs up towards the ceiling. Maybe gaze up. One more breath. And then come back through to center. Release your hands, and then separate your feet hips width apart. And we'll take a ragdoll. So if you want to, inhale, reach up first. And then exhale, fold forward. You can grab opposite elbows. Release your head and neck down. If you want to, you can shake your head yes or no. Or sway from side to side. Whatever is feeling good for your body. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Release your hands down towards the mat and then rolling up nice and slowly, trying to articulate through the whole spine here, all the way up to standing. Once you're there, roll your shoulders up and around and then back down, and then you can go the opposite way to the back, front, and then back down, and then step your feet together and go ahead and turn to face long ways on your mat if you weren't there already. Getting started with those modified Sun A's. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward, hands down on the mat. Inhale, lift up halfway, flatten your back. Exhale, make your way down onto your knees. Hands come up to your hips. Inhale, lengthen the spine, open the chest, camel pose. Exhale, realign your spine, cross your ankles, send your hips back, make your way into the boat pose. Hold here in your boat pose for 5. Sits bones, hands, tailbone is on the mat. 3, 2, 1. Making your way up into a forward fold. Plant the feet, lift the hips, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand up. Arms sweep up. And exhale, hands to heart center, and then down by your side. Again, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward all the way down. Inhale, lift up halfway, flatten your back. Exhale, knees down to the mat, hands to your hips, getting set up for camel. Inhale, little camel. Exhale, realign the spine, cross the ankles, send your hips back, make your way into your boat pose. Hold in here in your boat for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feet down to the mat. Lift your hips up. Find your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand up. Arms sweep up. And exhale, hands to heart. And then down by your side. Let's take a breath together here. Inhale. And exhale. Moving on to Sun B, starting chair pose. Inhale, drop the hips, arms up, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway, flatten your back. And exhale, knees down to the mat, hands to your hips. Inhale, open the chest, find your camel pose. And exhale, realign your spine, shoulders over hips. Right foot steps forward, left leg comes back, left heel to the mat, arms come up. Inhale, warrior 1. And exhale, left knee down to the mat, right knee steps back to meet it. Open the chest, inhale, camel pose. And exhale, realign the spine. Left foot steps forward, right heel back, reach the arms up, warrior 1, left side. And then right knee down to the mat, left knee comes down to meet it. Inhale, open the chest, camel pose. And then exhale, realign the spine, cross the ankles, hips come back. Find your boat pose. Holding here in your boat for 5. Lengthen the spine, broaden across the collarbones. 3, 2, 1. Feet down to the mat. Lean forward or rock and roll. Make your way into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, drop the hips. Sweep the arms up, chair pose. Inhale. And exhale, stand up, hands to heart. And then down by your side. We'll take a breath here. Inhale. And then exhale, release. Making our way, adding some flow this time. Chair pose. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten the back. Exhale, coming down to your knees, hands to your hips. Inhale, open the chest, camel pose. Exhale, realign your spine. Right foot steps forward, left foot back. We're finding a warrior 1. This time we'll stay here. You want your back foot to be at about a 45-degree angle. Think about drawing this right hip back. If you need to separate your feet a little wider so you can do that, that's totally fine. One more breath here. Inhale, find a little length. And exhale, open up. We're finding warrior 2. So adjust your stance as much as you need to. Think about externally rotating this front right leg at the hip socket. And then a slight internal rotation with this back leg. So nice and open through the hips. Shoulders are stacked over hips. And then you can turn your gaze out over your front right hand. One more breath here. Flip your front palm. Lean forward a little bit. Inhale. And then big sweep back. Exhale, reverse your warrior. So legs are still nice and stable in this warrior two. You can take a half wrap with your left hand if you'd like. Find a little length with your inhales, a little more lean with your exhale. Last breath. And then coming back to warrior two. And from here, finding a side angle. So right hand's gonna come to our quad. So forearm can rest on our quad, and then the left arm's gonna swing around to the front, reaching towards that front corner of your mat. Lift your left shoulder so that you're not sinking in here, but nice and tall, and then maybe gaze towards this extended left hand. Breathing here. Making your way back into warrior two. Straighten the right leg. Reverse it, reverse triangle. Nice long length here. Again, you have the option for the half wrap with your left hand. And then back into warrior two. And then you're gonna take your left hand down and around and let that take you into a crescent lunge. Adjust your stance as much as you need to. You can have a little bend in your back left leg if you'd like. Hips are neutral towards the front, core is engaged. So if you're finding too much of a back bend here, then just bend your left knee. That way your tailbone can be pointing down towards the ground. Arms are up. Last breath here. All right, and the left knee is going to come down to the mat, hands to your hips. Step your right knee back to meet it. Open the chest, camel pose. And then re-engage your spine back to your knees. From here, left foot steps forward, right heel back, warrior one. So externally rotating here, this right hip, that right foot is pointing planting down into the mat, including that pinky toe edge. Arms come up, maybe blade the hands and look up, that's just an option. And then most importantly, make sure that you're breathing. Last breath here. Inhale, find just a little more length. And exhale, open up, warrior two. Adjust your stance. Same cues here. So external rotation with this front left leg this time. A slight internal rotation with this right leg behind you. Hips are open to the side. Shoulders are stacked up over them. And then arms can be out. Palms face down. And look forward. Breathing here for 3, 2, 1. Flip your front palm, lean forward just a little bit, and then big sweep up and back, reverse your warrior. Right hand can slide down your right leg. You just want to make sure you're not putting any pressure on this right knee, or maybe take the half wrap. Inhale, find a little more length, and exhale, a little more lean to the back. Coming back through to warrior two. And then finding your side angle, left hand to your quad, right arm sweeps down and around, overhead. If you're finding yourself rounding down towards the ground, rotate these right ribs up towards the ceiling, and then maybe gaze towards this extended right hand. Breathing here. Coming up back to warrior two, then straighten your left leg and find a reverse triangle. Legs are nice and strong, pressing down to the ground and scissoring in towards each other. Last breath. And then back through warrior two, bend the left knee, right arm takes you down and around. Lift the right heel, find your crescent lunge. All right, so tailbone is pointing down. You can have a little bend with this right knee if that feels better for you. Arms are up. And take a few more breaths here for 3, 2, 1. Right knee down to the mat, hands come to your hips. Left knee steps back to join your right. Open the chest, camel pose. And then realign your spine here. Cross your ankles, make your way back, finding your boat pose. Breathing here in your boat pose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Finishing up the flow, feet on the mat, lean forward, make your way up to a forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, drop the hips, sweep the arms up, chair pose. Inhale. Exhale, stand up, hands to heart center or down by your side. Let's take a breath. Exhale, release. All right, a little balancing word. You can stay where you're at. I'm just going to turn to face you. We're going to find a tree pose. So starting balancing on our right leg, pressing to all four corners of that right foot. Hands can come to your hips, and then maybe just hover the left foot up off the mat. From there, making our way into tree. So you can do any tree. Left foot can come to your lower leg. You can use your left hand, pull it up. Wherever you're at, you want to press your foot into your leg and your leg back into your foot. And then take notice of where your hip points are. You want them square to the front of the mat. A lot of times we're a little more concerned with opening this left leg. And when we do that, our hips get a little cattywampus. So pull your hips back normal, even if that loses some of your opening in your left leg. And then hands to heart center. And then if you'd like to, you can grow your tree however you'd like to. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hands back to heart center. And then release your left foot down to the mat. Take a breath between sides. Inhale. And exhale. Other side. So pressing down on this left foot, pressing evenly into all four corners. And bring your hands to your hips and lift your right foot up off the mat. When you're ready, foot can come into leg at any position. So lower leg, you can bring it up to your inner thigh. Wherever you're at, you want to press into that inner leg and then press the leg back into the foot. So almost like we're trying to squeeze everything together here. And again, take notice of where your hips are. So hips are square to the front. Even if that makes you lose some opening in this leg, that's okay. And if you're feeling comfortable, hands can come in heart center. And if you're feeling confident there as well, then maybe grow your tree. You can grow up, you can grow down, whatever feels good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands back into heart center. And then release your right foot down to the mat. Back to mountain pose. Let's take a breath. Exhale, release. All right, making our way onto our backs with a little bit of back bending. So it's starting feet together, heels slightly apart. We're going to go through a flow to get there. So inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten the back. And exhale, plant your knees down onto the mat. Hands come up to your hips. Open the chest, little camel pose. And then re-engage your spine, shoulders over hips, cross your ankles, and make your way back into your boat pose. So the last boat pose of the practice will be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feet down on the mat, and then make your way onto your backs. So you want to keep your knees bent with your knees up towards the ceiling, and feet are nice and firmly planted on the mat. About hips width apart, and you'd like for the outside of your feet to be parallel to the long side of your mat here. So we're going to go into a bridge pose, but to make sure we're not putting any pressure on our hands or wrists, I want you to bend your elbows and then have your hands up towards the ceiling. You can blade your hands if that feels good for you. Find a little bit of length in your spine. Take a nice deep inhale. And then on our exhale, we're going to use the muscles in the front of our body to lift our hips up off the mat, finding a bridge pose. So our glutes are working here, but they're not our primary muscle. They're one of the largest muscles in our body, so you're never going to really completely disconnect them, but you want to make sure you're not shoving yourself up, but rather using the front of your body to have some lift here. One more breath, and then release that down. And then we'll just windshield wiper our legs from side to side. All right, we'll do that once more. So feet flat on the mat, about hips width apart, outside of feet parallel to the outside of the mat. Knees are stacked up over your ankles, so everything's in a nice alignment there. Arms are bent with your fingertips facing up towards the ceiling. Inhale, find that little more length in your spine. And exhale, lift up using the front of your body, lift up. Bridge pose, maybe a little higher this time. Holding here, making sure you're still breathing. So thighs are engaged, almost a little bit of internal rotation here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower back down, back to the mat. And let's just bring the soles of our feet together, knees nice and wide. Supta Baddha Konasana, or butterfly on your back, just for a couple of breaths as you're recovering from the back bending. Last breath here. And then you can use your hands to help if you'd like. Lift your knees up towards the sky. We'll end with a twist here. So feet are gonna come nice and wide, like almost as wide as the outside of your mat. And then just lay your knees over towards the right, okay? You're gonna find a little bit of back bending action here. That's okay to have a little bit, but you don't wanna be so much so that you've got this huge arch in your back. So you can try and counteract that by drawing your left shoulder down on the mat and maybe lengthening through your tailbone. You can stay here or even bring your right ankle on top of your left thigh to give yourself a little more opening. You should feel this through the hip flexor, through the side body, a little bit of twist. Arms can come out anywhere, so maybe cactus or out nice and wide if you've got plenty of room. And if you'd like to, you can pick your head up, turn it on its own axis and look to the left. So you're looking away from your knees here. Breathing nice and deeply. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unwind your head. Release your legs. Lift your knees up towards the sky. Let's take a breath. Exhale, release. And then other side. So lay your knees down towards the left. Make any adjustments you need to. Shoulders are down on the mat. You've got this little bit of a bend in your back here. You can make any adjustments. And then if it feels good, lift your left leg, left ankle on top of right thigh. And then I'll pull you down a little bit. Arms can be anywhere. Pick your head up, turn it. This time we're going to look towards the right. So still looking away from our knees. And breathe here nice and slowly for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unwind your head first. Release your left foot and bring your knees up towards the ceiling. If there's any final movements that you need to make this practice complete, you can take those now. Otherwise, you'll make your way into your Shavasana. So legs are nice and long. You can just kind of let your feet flop open, whatever position feels good. Release any tension in your glutes and your hips. You can shimmy your shoulder blades underneath you so you're nice and supported. Traditionally, palms are face up with hands down by your side, but if you want to take your hands out to a T or overhead, it is your Shavasana, so you make it what you want. Take a nice deep breath in, inhaling, filling up the lungs. And with your exhale, just release any tension you've got in your body. Allow the ground to support you here. Embrace what it feels like to be at peace, to be relaxed, to be supported, and to be still. I encourage you to take several moments here in your Shavasana. You can pause me or just let the video run out. I think at least 3 to 5 minutes is great to really soak in the benefits of your practice. And I will leave you here so you can take as much time as you need. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, namaste.